Okay, let's try. Oh, it's I've just unmuted myself. Apologies.
Hello and welcome to episode 6 of the Internet Podcast. Obviously, England played today. Good start to the tournament. What did everyone think of the game?
It's coming home. No, let's not start too early. But yeah, I think we did the job. I would say that we were the better team. Croatia did give us a few nervy moments, but ultimately, we got the 3 points and we need to move on. I don't think it was the best performance, but at the end of the day, we haven't even won a first game of a European competition as England in the past. So that's a massive step forward for us. And then we've got Scotland and Czech Republic to go. So good to get 3 points on the board. And then hopefully this is a springboard of things to come.
Yeah, I agree. I think like nothing special, but good solid start to the tournament. What do you think, Ib?
Yeah, same. Probably the hardest team in the group, would you guys say?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, if we dealt with them, 1-0 win, clean sheet. I guess the biggest worry for everyone was the defense. And the clean sheet, I guess, goes a long way. So yeah, positive things.
A win's a win at the end of the day. It wasn't exactly pretty. There were some good signs though. Players flooding forward on the transition. Mings actually had a pretty good game.
Yeah.
Trippier left back turned out to be a very good choice, even though everyone was going quite.
What was the thinking behind that? Why?
Why experience, maybe?
The experience, wasn't it? He wanted the experience, and yeah,
but it's not like Chilwell and Shaw are like new, like they're not like 17, 18-year-olds. They're seasoned professionals. Chilwell just won the Champions League. Shaw's been playing at United for what? How many seasons now? 3, 4, 5 seasons. They're not. I don't understand why he would go with. Not that Trippier played bad, but when you've got two left backs who are of that caliber, I don't understand the reasoning behind putting Trippier there.
Yeah, no, I agree. I wouldn't have started him, but yeah, like you said, he didn't have a bad game. Funnily enough, I think he took some really good sort of throw-ins where he managed to release players into a bit of space in the first half. I think that was when we had the chance down the right hand side. But yeah, he wouldn't have been my choice for left back. I said on the last pod I'd have started Shaw. But yeah, I mean we got the win, I suppose.
Yeah, plenty of more to come with regards to the England and the Euros, but I think it's time now where we actually mentioned that we have our first Internet podcast guest coming on. So I'm just about to admit him in. Ibi, do you have anything to say, or should I just press the button and let him in? Okay, sure. Let's go ahead and do it. Hello and welcome. We'd like to say hello to Lee Allinson here, manager of Hendon FC, who has a massive involvement in grassroots football. But I think before we go ahead and speak any further, Lee, would you kindly introduce yourself to everyone listening?
Yeah, hi guys, you okay?
All right.
Good. How you doing, Lee?
Yeah, very well, thank you. Much better now England have won.
Relax a bit.
Yeah, so the guys were saying, obviously, manager Hendon Town. Is it Hendon Town?
Hendon FC.
Hendon FC, sorry.
Yeah.
Obviously in non-league football, same division, I think, as our sort of hometown club, Weston-super-Mare.
Same division, very good side.
Yeah,
one of my favourites for the league next season.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah, good side.
I think they've managed to. I've seen recently, like on socials, they've managed to hold on to a few of their players. So, How have Hendon found it with sort of the situation as it is?
Yeah, it's been tough. I took over 18 months ago now. They were bottom of the league when I took over, and we managed to keep them up, albeit the pandemic had hit, but we were mid-table, and I felt that we had a really good side the season just gone, but obviously 8 games in, and yeah, again, the second pandemic hit. So obviously it's ended that season. So although being manager 18 months, not managed to complete a season, which is really frustrating, but it can't be helped. But hopefully, you know, we're over the worst of it now, and we can concentrate on next season and having a really good season under our belts.
Yeah, so
No,
yeah.
go on. I'll go next. Go on.
Okay, now my question was going to be about today's game, really. Obviously, big win. What did you make of it, and what did you make of Southgate's selection?
Yeah, it was a listen, to win your first game in the group is always good, to get off to a winning start. I thought it was an okay performance. I don't think we can get carried away with it. I don't think we created enough chances. Obviously, I mean, I was really, really impressed with the lad Phillips today. I thought he was sensational. I've not come across him too much. I'm not mad on Premier League football, especially with no crowd. I find it quite frustrating. So I haven't watched loads of it this season. So he never even come into my thought process about starting today. So he really took me by surprise. Really liked him. Thought he was excellent. I think with the front 4 or 5 players that we got there in Rashford, Sterling, Foden, Grealish, Sancho, you can take your pick. They're all good players. And the one thing I say, and I say it all the time, the manager gets to see them day in, day out. So he knows that if Sterling's in form or not. It's easy for us to say Sterling's not in form. He's not playing well for his club, but he's in with him internationally and every day, and he must be doing something right to warrant that start today. And I thought he'd done okay. My biggest concern, and that is Trippier at left back. You know, how frustrating for the Champions League winner in Ben Chilwell, who plays under Thomas Tuchel, who doesn't mess around or mince his words with his players. And he wouldn't be playing if he wasn't a good left back. And Luke Shaw, for me, has been the best left back in the Premier League this year. So your first and second choice left backs are actually your second and third choice, which I find really frustrating behind a right back. And I can't really get my head around that. I thought it was, I think if we come up against better opposition, I think we're going to get found out there if we continue to go that way. So I'd like to see Shaw or Chilwell back in the side quite quickly. But overall, I thought it was steady performance. Really pleased with how we played after scoring the goal. I thought we controlled the game. We managed the game. But I have to say, I thought Croatia were disappointing, actually. I don't think they really wanted to win the game. And I don't know if you've just watched the Holland-Ukraine game, but that was exciting. That's what I want to see. You know, I can handle going out and losing games when it's like that. I just felt today was very much both teams not wanting to lose, and unfortunately for us, England got the goal.
Yeah, 100%.
That was exactly. Oh, I was just gonna say that was exactly what we were saying on the previous episode, where we said as long as they go out and give it a go, it would be better to see rather than to hold back and try and play for a draw or not to lose. But to go out and give it a go, I don't think anyone would be upset if they gave it their all and went for the win.
Yeah,
if
absolutely.
Now 3-2, then at least
I just want to quickly echo what Lee was saying about Phillips. I don't think any of us put him in the team when we did our 11. And wow, he shut us up today, didn't he?
Yeah, he bossed the midfield. There's nothing else to say about that. Lee, I've actually got a question for you in terms of what you just said about England. So obviously with Friday coming up, and we know Scotland play the Czech Republic tomorrow, what would you like to see different in terms of the Friday match against Scotland? It's a completely different opposition. It's also a rivalry, and I guess there's going to be completely different elements to the game in comparison to the Croatia match today, especially given that it is England v Scotland. It's a completely different dimension. There's going to be more pressure on delivering results, and obviously depending on the results tomorrow, it could have a massive implication to the group itself.
Yeah, I have to be honest, I worry about the game. I think it's going to be a really tough game. I don't think we can take Scotland for granted. I think they're a very good side. I think they've got very good individuals. Maybe not the strike force that you think is world class, but you know, with McTominay, Robertson and Tierney and people like that, they're good players. They're very, very good established Premier League players. So we can't take them for granted. I think it'll be a very, very tough game. The pleasing thing is at Wembley. but we've got to be more attacking. I don't think there was a real attacking threat today. So, and I think Scotland will give us a bit more of the ball. I think they'll sit a little bit deeper. So, do you go with Sterling, who's going to struggle to get in behind them, or do you go with someone like Grealish, who will make things happen? I worry that, today, someone asked me today about, what was Harry Kane, and I didn't think Harry Kane was sharp today at all. But you're only as good as your service. And what service did we give him? We give him absolutely nothing. And if we're putting crosses in the box and he's not there, or he's not meeting the ball, or he's not arriving onto the ball, then we can criticise him. But I think he probably got one cross, which he was still there and knocked it over. So that is a bit of a concern with Harry Kane. I think we need to see a bit more of him. But it's going to be a really tough game. I just personally, I really feel like we have to go and get a left-footed left back in the side, because we're unbalanced. There's 2 or 3 occasions today that I noticed that the left back would have got out in terms of attacking threat down the sides of them. But no, we come back inside and pass it square or backwards from the left back position, because he's naturally right-footed. I don't think he's made a partial game with his left foot. So that worries me. I think we have to change that quite quickly. But the plus side is we've got 3 points on the board. So, we'll take a point on Friday if we have to. It's not what we want to do. We want to win the game. But there's no pressure on us. And it'll be interesting to see how they go tomorrow against Czech Republic. But it will be a very, very tough game. I think it'll be a heated affair. But listen, if England are on their game and they play as well as we do, and it's really important. If the top players perform, we've got a fantastic side there. And we're as good as the majority of teams in the competition. So I expect us to beat Scotland on Friday if everyone performs.
Yeah, no, I agree. I'm hoping that we've sort of, because the way the qualifications work in terms of the 4 best place, the best performing 3rd place teams go through.
Yeah.
I'm hoping now we're more or less guaranteed to get out of the group, barring an absolute disaster. I'm hoping now these next 2 games we can really go for teams and try and play them off the park, not worry about what they're going to do to us. And like you say, get a left-footed left back on the pitch, because if Scotland are going to sit deep, you're going to need to overlap. You're going to need to try and get around, get balls in the box like that. So I think it's a must that we need the left-sided left back.
I totally agree.
Guys, do you have should I jump in with a question, or did anyone else have?
No, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, Lee, about Limitless Football Academy, exactly what it is, and how does grassroots football affect the international scene as well? So obviously we're in the midst of the Euros at the moment, but how does grassroots football affect the international scene and football overall in England?
Well, the Limitless Academy is something that I feel that as I've been looking to kind of set up at Hendon Football Club now since I've got the job. It's a fantastic setup at the football club. We play out of a ground called Silver Jubilee Park, which is made for classrooms and football on the AstroTurf where our home pitch is. I run it alongside a very good friend of mine and my assistant manager, Cameron Moyer. It's for players between the ages of 16 to 19 and 19 to 23 who do full-time education and football. So they're playing every day and they're learning and getting a qualification at the same time. And, for me, there's no better place than to be out on the football pitch every day. And, we make no secret that London is going through some bad times and there's a lot of gang culture and a lot of stabbings and a lot of problems there. So, for me, if we can change lives and make people better people and make them understand that, there's a lot more to life than just, being caught up in gangs and not living the right lifestyle, then hopefully we can change some lives like that. It's really important to me that, this is not just about football. This is about human being and making sure we look after and understand the young people, because I don't think we understand them at times. They're of course, complex characters, but I think I've got a lot of love and care for them, and hopefully I can make a difference with them. So it's a really exciting project, and you never know, you might find 1 or 2 gems. And going on to your next question about grassroots, I think is massively important for the country, because a lot of players come out of there. Look at your Jamie Vardy's, your Mings has played today at centre half. He's come through grassroots football, played for Chippenham in the football in non-league. There's a lot of good players in non-league and grassroots level. and sometimes you just need a little bit of luck, and it's really, really important. And it's been hit hard with the pandemic and the kids not being able to play. But you know, they're back now, they're playing, they're enjoying it, and these Euros, and this is why I get frustrated when sometimes these games are so tactical and like we talked about earlier, not so free flowing. The kids and myself and yourselves, we want to see attacking, exciting football. That's what we live for. If you go back to the World Cup, it was exciting. And you know, today I just thought it was a little bit, you know, obviously first group game, but let's hope that not every team sets up against us not to get beat, and we don't set up against other teams not to get beat, because with what we've got going forward, we could cause some problems. So I'd like to see us really go at teams, and you know, as I say, football in general, and listen, football is massive part of the world, and I think my wife said it to me yesterday about, we see this incident with Ericsson yesterday on the pitch, and it took everyone back. But how amazing is it that the rivalry that's in football, and the arguments we all have, and the disagreements, and how we all come united for one player. You know, I think that's really important, that football is a great sport. We're all in it for the right reasons. We all support it for the right reasons. Yeah, we all have different opinions, but it's one great sport. And what I don't want is to lose it to being tactical and defensive minded all the time. Let's go and excite people. Let's make things happen. And hopefully England can do that for us, and, you know, really go at Scotland and Czech Republic, because let me tell you now, if we're not careful, we're going to go into France, Germany or Portugal in the next round, and we will have to be on our guard then, and be able to attack teams properly, because if we don't, we're going to get found out very quickly.
Yeah.
So why do you think it is, Lee, that we've got the players, attacking players, but yet we set up so defensively minded? Why do you think that is, when we've got the likes of Grealish, Sterling, Rashford, Foden, Mount, Kane? We've got all of these attacking players, yet we're trying to, you know, we've got 2 holding, we're thinking about, there's talks about playing 5 at the back. When you've got all of these players at your disposal, why do you think we're approaching games like that?
I think we have to be careful with the 2 holding, because I think we see with Phillips today, he makes fantastic runs forward. The third man run for the goal was fantastic. You know, he does break lines, so he's always got Rice in there. He was an unsung hero today, played very well, ticked it over nicely. I just think that sometimes the modern day football is a little bit like that. It's not to be beat, and the brave managers, you know, they're the ones who go and get the results. And I'd just like to see us be a bit more attack-minded, take more risks with the football. I think we've played very safe at times. You know, I thought today it was very sideways, backwards, without really who's going to go and make that cutting pass, that cutting-edge pass. And that's where you look at someone like Modric. You know, if you had him in your side, you know you're going to take risks. And I sometimes feel with England, because of the way the press is, because of the way we criticise at times, that players maybe are a little bit of fear of taking them risks, because we look at Bruno Fernandes, everyone raves about him, but have a look at his stats, the amount of times he gives the ball away, but that's because he's taking risks all the time. Now, I believe in playing forward. You know, to score a goal, you have to put the ball forward to get it in the net. So, you know, for me, it's always first thought forward, second thought sideways, third thought backwards, you know, and I just felt at times that we're very sideways, backwards, and that won't work against the good sides, because they will hit you, they'll punish you very quickly, and they've got players that will take risks. You know, if you end up playing France and things like Pogba, he criticises all the time, but he tries things. He gives the ball away. Yeah, it's not going to come off every game. But I just think with England at times, the one thing I like about Grealish, he will take risks. Foden will take risks, but you've got to get him the football. So if we do that, I think we've got a chance, but we have to take more risks than we did today, because if we look at it, really, we've hardly created a chance today. Yeah, we had a couple early on. We had one late on with Harry Kane, but we haven't really tested their keeper. Granted, our keeper hasn't been tested, but if we want to succeed and move forward, we've got to take risks.
So if England don't do this, don't play more attacking, who do you think the most likely winner is for you in the Euros?
I think, listen, we can't. No one's going to write off France. Let's be honest with you. I think every single player in that team is world class, very, very good side. But I like the look of Portugal. I think they're going to shock a few teams out of nowhere. Their team on paper, and Italy. You know, I looked today, 29 games unbeaten. You know, that takes some doing. That does. and they're going to be a real threat. They look like they've hit form. The Italians always come good in competition, so I think they'll be a real threat. But it's like anything in these companies, you need a little bit of luck, and you can never write England off or Belgium, because if you get the luck of the draw, you have a luck of one of them games where against the top sides and you win it. You see in the Champions League final, everyone's saying Man City beats Chelsea, Man City beats Chelsea. Chelsea do really well, defend well, get their goal, can't get broken down and win the Champions League final. So you can never write anyone off. But for me, I can't see past France and possibly Portugal.
While we're on that, if that's your winner, we did it last episode, but if you've got a dark horse team, player of the tournament and a golden boot winner, put you on the spot a bit, but if you've got any ideas for any of those three?
Golden boot, I think, will be. I'm gonna go Mbappe. I think he can end up with a golden boot. I really do. They've just got attacking players all over the park, France, and I can just see them scoring lots of goals. And the problem is with France, they've got so much pace in the team. When teams attack them, if they hit them on the counter attack, you're in big problems. Player of the tournament. Look, you've got so many good players on show. I'll go for. I'm not going to go player of the tournament. I'm going to go. I like what I see today from Phillips. I've got to be honest with you, and he was very shrewd in his play. He made a lot of very good tactical fouls. He can play, he can pass, he can run, he can tackle. He's very, very good. He's really shocked me. I'm excited by him, I have to be honest. I really like. But then again, I spoke to someone today and they said you don't play for Bielsa if you don't do all them things. So it just shows you that we might have a real serious player on our hands here that maybe have gone unnoticed for the last few years. So I'm gonna stick with Phillips for. I can't pick a real player of the tournament at the moment because there's so many good players on show. But I'm gonna say for me, out of England players, I think Phillips is gonna really shine a light on us. I really believe that.
Do you see a big team coming for him? Like
I'm a Man United fan. I'd go and break the bank for him now. I just watched him today, and I just see, we've never been a side that makes tactical fouls. We've never been, and you look how we've controlled the game after 1-0 up. There's never with England. There's always an issue or a problem, or we concede late on, or we're always under. He just broke play up. He made things a problem. He gave away tactical fouls. He got us back in our shape quickly. He didn't give the ball away all game. I'm really, really surprised and excited by the lad. I have to be honest. And you all said it there. He wasn't in any of your starting lineups, and he certainly wasn't in mine or the subs bench. So it's really shocked me. So I'm going to just say for him, for maybe shock player of the tournament.
And have you got a dark horse team?
Yeah, Germany.
Yeah, they've gone under the radar a bit this time.
Yeah. Listen, you can never write the Germans. I like what I see from Holland today. To be fair, I thought they were very exciting, very, very exciting. But again, when you get to that world class level, it's different. It's different. And I was excited by Holland tonight, but I don't think they've got enough defensively. But Germany, you can never write them off, and I don't think anyone's mentioned them yet. So we'll go Germany. And I wouldn't mind France getting knocked out in the group stages and maybe us taking Portugal and having a go, because I don't fancy Germany or France in that next round.
Yeah, that's understandable. Yeah, Lam, go ahead.
I got a question in regards to, with the spotlight on mental health in football, especially in the past couple of years, how have you found going through a pandemic, in charge of a new team for 18 months or so, but also in charge of an under-18s academy and a kind of young adults 18 to 23 age academy, and having to deal with the impacts of the pandemic on kind of 3 different age groups, from kids all the way up to adults? I want to see how you found it and any.
Yeah, really, really tough, and I think get away from all of that first and foremost. Myself, massively. I've been in football my whole life. My dad was a professional footballer. He's been a manager for the last 30 odd years. I've been in dugouts with him. I've played my whole life at a reasonable, good non-league level, and I've suffered with OCD my whole life. So quite bad OCD. So for me to take all that away from me and then just be left in your mind and thoughts and all things going on was really, really tough. So first and foremost, it was about looking after myself and being really positive. I managed to get in touch with some guys at a company called Football Flow with Dean Hooper and Dominic Sterling, who were fantastic for me. Really good. Both. One was an ex-professional who suffers with bipolar and has had it's a fantastic story. And Dominic Sterling, very good non-league player who's got a degree in mental health. So they were great for me. They really got me through the early stages. I got out walking. I was really positive, and amazingly, it really helped me. And then after that, it's for, looking after the players and keeping in touch with them and making sure they're okay. That's really important as well, because you can't forget about them. So and your family. So it was really tough.
Was it something as simple as just a check-in that you found, and what you found worked for you would then cascade down to them and filter out and spread a kind of positive message?
Definitely.
A long way.
Yeah, definitely. It was always just a message in the group just to check everyone was okay. Anyone not, just send us a message, but just making sure people knew that we were there for them. I think it's always really important, and that went really well. And the boys have been great, and we're fortunate in our youth teams, me and my wife, that we've got a lot of good coaches, good people who were looking after their own teams as well. And if we had any problems there, that they come to us. And we're fortunate we've not had any real incidents, which is great. And now we're slowly getting back to it, and it's great and it's good. We just hope that we don't ever go through this again, because I have to be honest, it's not been easy for anyone. So fingers crossed we're over the worst of it and we can get back on with normal life.
Yeah, definitely. So obviously, fingers crossed, things are getting back to normal. Hopefully, fans back in the grounds next year, and for you guys, and you especially, getting a full season in. What are your hopes for the season with Hendon?
Yeah, I'm really excited. I feel that we've got a very good side, a very competitive side. I'll always say it. I never approach any league unless I believe I can win it. So we're going to go out to try and win the league. If we can't do that, we're going to aim for the playoffs. And if we can't do that, we'll finish as high as possible. We're not one of the biggest spenders in the league. I'd say we're probably bottom half of that. But I believe I've got a fantastic group of players that have all played at a very good level. Some football leagues, some have come out of the football league to drop into our team. And I think we're a really exciting team. And like anything, I think on paper, our starting 11 is very strong. It comes down to, if you get injuries to your contracted players and your money's tied up, that's when it becomes really difficult, because you have to find players that fit into your budget with money that ain't as big as what you'd hope for. So if we keep everyone fit and firing, I think we'll have a really good season. The one thing I'll say is I think it's the strongest league out of all 4 or 5. It's very strong. You have Western, you have Truro, you have Taunton, Tiverton, Paul, Hayes and Yedding, Chesham. Some real good sides, and that's Swindon as well. So I'd say top 10 will all fancy their chances of winning it or being in a playoff. So we'll give it a real good shot next season.
Oh yeah, I'm going to definitely try and get down to the game at Western, I reckon.
It'd be nice to properly meet you.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I was just saying to the boys before you got on that I think it's about 3 miles away from Hendon, so I'm definitely going to come down and watch some games there. And
it'd be great if you just let me know, and I'll leave you a ticket on the door. That'd be no problem at all.
Yeah.
If the guys don't have any other questions, on a lighter note, I've got a question for you. Who is the one player that I would say made you fall in love with football? That one player that stands out. So obviously we have the Messi Ronaldo debates now going back. For me, it was Zidane, the most complete player I've ever seen. So who is it for you? Just on a lighter note, that was that one player that is your guy.
Yeah, it's just one and one only. It's Zidane. He's just a magician. He's got everything, absolutely everything. I love Pirlo. Really like Pirlo, fantastic player. Paul Scholes, but Zidane was just. I wish I go back to being younger and studied him more then than I do now. Because he was, you took him for granted. Like I see Roy Keane talking about him the other day, just saying like he's 6'2". He had everything, and he was just so good. And I don't think I realised it
on the pitch.
Yeah, he's just the best, just the best. And yeah, so for me it was him. But funny, weird. I was more into managers, believe it or not, because I grew up watching my dad being a manager. I was obsessed with managers. So I used to watch football, and all I wanted to ever be was a manager. So it was I was more down the manager route, and but no, Zidane was just by far the best.
That's a good question, actually. Who's everyone else's?
For me, it's Zidane as well.
Zidane.
Mine, my major sort of memory of football as a child was the goal Owen scored.
Yeah,
Argentina in '98.
fantastic.
I remember that. It was like literally that. Like, yes, I like this. And yeah, it's magic. But yeah, what about you, Hugh?
Well,
He was Trent Alexander-Arnold, I think.
oh yeah,
He's a Liverpool fan, by the way.
very funny. Yeah, but keeping on Max's note, and yeah, as Ivy said, I'm a Liverpool fan, so I have to go with Michael Owen. As much as I disliked the way that he left the club, and as much as I disliked the way that he joined a rival in terms of United, like growing up, he was a phenomenal finisher. Like his ability to break the defensive line and stay onside and bad goals, and then during the World Cup, I think my best memory is like probably 2002, where at the Argentina match where he won the penalty, and then obviously the whole Brazil match, which didn't go our way. But as a player for Liverpool, he was phenomenal. It's just unfortunate that injuries played with his career, and then he never was the same player again. But yeah, Michael Owen has to be the one for me.
About you, Lam?
Mine was Totti. I remember watching. When they used to show it on the highlights on Channel 4. If anyone remembers, way back in the morning. I remember watching the Totti.
Italian night. I loved it. Yeah.
It was quality, and then getting on a bit, it was Adriano. That shot power.
Yeah.
Just the emperor. Yeah. Watching that, I thought, oh, this is the guy.
That's only because of Pez, isn't it, Lam?
It was shot power 99 as well.
Yeah, that's it.
So Lee, I actually do have a question for you, if you don't mind. So obviously with the England squad, we've seen what's happened in 2018, where they've got to the semi-final, and even today's with the squad, we've got a very, very young squad. And there has been past performances in the youth team. Let's forget about the under-21 performances this season. But we are seeing a progression of young players now breaking into the England squad. I guess from your perspective, how have you seen it as you're on the other side of the industry, especially as a manager? How do you see England's progression, especially with the young talent that we're seeing through the pipeline now?
I think it's really good. I think we've got some fantastic talent coming through. Bellingham's come on today at 17 years of age. I don't think it gets much better than that, does it? And he looks like a serious talent. So I think we've got a real good group of players coming through. We just needed to see them more. You know, we need to get them their chances. My worry is, and like anything, you know, we haven't got in France, in Italy, Spain, they seem to be getting more chances at the top clubs because maybe it's not as wealthy and not as good as the Premier League. You know, you only look at Dortmund taking Bellingham and playing week in, week out for Dortmund. So maybe they don't get as much opportunity at the top level of the Premier League. That would be my only worry. And we need to get these boys through because they're real good players. But money talks, unfortunately, in the Premier League. So, but I think it's exciting. I think it's really good. I think we've got a really exciting group here now in this Euros. My biggest worry is I don't see him getting past last 16 because of the game after this group stage. Just getting out of the group, no problem. My biggest concern is Germany, France, or Portugal. I don't know if we've got enough about us to win that. But we get another shot at it next year at the World Cup, or the year after. So we've got a great chance.
Yeah. Yes, like from the rest of us guys, thank you so much for coming on.
No, pleasure. Thanks for having me on. Real pleasure.
We'd love to get you on again, sort of before the season starts, and have a bit more of a chat about your sort of Hendon pre-season and all that.
No problem at all. I'd love to.
Awesome, man. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, guys. Nice to meet you all. Thank you. Cheers. Bye-bye.
Enjoy it. See you Euros, mate.
Cheers. Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was pretty cool, wasn't it, guys? What a lovely chat.
Yeah.
Great
Matt's-
insight into well,
and
a manager's point of view, an
Yeah.
active manager's point of view.
Doing great things as well outside
Mhm.
of sort of like formal football with the things
Definitely.
he's trying to do with the community. Just a real nice guy that's using the
Mm.
sport that we all love to try and make a real positive thing out of it. I think it's awesome. What a great guy.
yeah, what a great
I
way
think
to
one-
give back as well to the community.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, one of the first questions, I'm not sure who asked, something about about Hendon and how it's going. And he straight away, he said, talked about how football's bigger than just the game itself.
Yeah.
It's,
Yeah.
you know, the wider community, getting kids off the streets and from gang crime and things like that. So when you've got someone who's seeing it like that,
Yeah.
you just need more
Bigger
people like that in
picture.
the game, really. Yeah.
So genuine. Yeah, it's great. It's great. And really good discussion on the England game. You
Mm.
tell he knows what he's on about with his football. I wouldn't mind him managing sort of my team, somebody with attitudes like that towards attacking football. Bring it on.
Definitely. That's especially that first pass forward, second pass sideways, third pass back.
Mm,
Great philosophy.
yeah, because
Great
you've
philosophy.
watched as much of Bristol City as I have this year. You've been so
Not like
starved
that.
of attacking football. It's
Yeah.
yeah.
First pass back.
I think the biggest positive, obviously, is the fact that he's a United fan.
Well, nobody's perfect, are they? So,
Yeah.
Of course, Man United bias there again, Ibby.
yeah, yeah. All right, Hugh, Mr. Liverpool bias. Right, so we've sort of discussed England at length. Is there anything anyone else wanted to add?
Yes, so I think that we should go through and run through some of the other games that have been played out. But I think first of all, given what Lee just mentioned about football being bigger than just a sport, I think we need to touch up on what happened yesterday. And I think on behalf of everyone here, especially in the night podcast, I think our thoughts and wishes, our best wishes go out to Christian Eriksen and his family. I also want to thank pretty much everyone who was at the stadium in terms of the fans getting behind the players and also the medical staff as well, because they did a remarkable job. And I'm just so thankful that he's actually okay now. He's in a stable condition. And that things like that, I think, shows that there is more to life than football, and football is also a bigger sport than, well, it's bigger than the sport itself. It brings people together. There's respect amongst individuals and people, fans, players, etc. And the thing is, like, what just happened yesterday kind of brings everything into perspective. So yeah, that's what I wanted to say.
Yeah, it was such a hideous situation, but what I thought, and obviously it's with the benefit of hindsight in terms of like Christian's sort of moving in the right direction in terms of his health, but I think everybody involved in what happened, obviously it was a horrible thing to happen, but everybody handled themselves perfectly. In terms of the people on the pitch, I think obviously the medical team were fantastic, but the referee straight away, and then his two teammates straight over to him. I think Simon Kjaer was even giving him CPR on the pitch.
Yeah, put him in the recovery position.
For all of the players to sort of gather around to sort of try and give him some privacy during this, I just thought it was so nice to see, like the way everybody handled himself. It was just, yeah, it's great. And obviously it's such good news, like you said, Hugh, that Christian's looking like he's gonna be okay health-wise.
Yeah. And even the gestures, Lukaku celebrating his goal, going over to the camera and
Son did it
sending,
as well, didn't he?
sending Christian Eriksen a message. Stefan Leiner today, when he scored the goal, put up that T-shirt with "Stay Strong, Eriksen." Like the entire football world is united, and it shows that this game is not just the sport itself, but it's a bigger thing, and it's like what Lee is doing as well. It giving back to the wider community. It is much bigger than just 22 players on the pitch playing for 90 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think as soon as it happens, that's when the game stops and it's human beings again. It's not rivals.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that the Danish media said it quite well this morning. Like, they didn't really care about the loss, but the biggest winner is life, and I think that sends an important message to everyone. But yeah, thankfully, he's recovering, and hopefully he continues to recover well. And fingers crossed, we don't know what's going to happen, given that it's such a serious injury. But I hope his health improves and his family are with him. And then, especially from a Danish perspective, I hope they can somewhat regather and continue with the tournament and do him proud in terms of like their performances, because I don't think it was easy for anyone who was playing yesterday to continue. And I personally, me speaking from my point of view, I think the medics should have had an assessment on each one of those players. I know that they said that they were willing to continue, but mentally, I don't know if they were in the right frame of mind. And I'm a little bit disappointed by UEFA giving them the option of only continuing on that day or continuing the day after, because like as the coach said, they thought it was unthinkable to go back and not even sleep overnight and then come back the next day to play football. But I'm sure they could have done something else. I know the schedule's tight, but yeah, mentally, I don't think it was the right thing to do. But I give them credit for continuing, and like unfortunately, the results didn't go their way. But you also have to give credit to Finland as well, because they were there at the time. They came with a tactic, and it's their first tournament, and they got a win. But ultimately, I think everything, the result, the football match itself, means absolutely nothing, given what else happened during that match.
Yeah. So obviously that was a sad moment in the tournament and whatever. But we've had a lot of football so far. Some of it good, some of it better than other bits of it. Obviously there was an absolute peach of a goal by Yarmolenko tonight. Absolute beauty. But is there any other games that you guys have watched that you've really enjoyed?
Yeah, so I even thought the Italy game was very, very good. A great start to the tournament. Also, the fact that it was a home game for Italy. They haven't been in the World Cup, obviously, last time round. And it was a completely different type of football that we're used to seeing Italy play. Like, they were expansive, they were playing very, very entertaining football, and I think that's credit to Mancini. But honestly, I didn't see them going off and winning 3-0 that game. And then, yeah, today's football results, aside from the England game, I think the other two matches were a lot more entertaining. Austria and even North Macedonia, they gave it a good go. I know they got lucky with their equaliser, but you can't fault their credit that. And Ukraine against Holland, like, they were 2-0 down and they still fought to the end. Like Yarmolenko, I know he scored a similar goal for West Ham, not this season, but I think maybe last season. But you can't let him do that. And I think it's just especially cutting in from the right. But I think that shows that defensive frailties is going to be apparent in some teams, and even the bigger teams like in Holland. I think they are missing Van Dijk for sure. But yeah, that was a great display of attacking football. It was so end to end. It was probably the best match of the tournament so far. And then I think Belgium put a foot down as well.
Yeah, I was going to say, I know one performance you would have enjoyed it being, and that was Big Romelu.
Yeah,
we spoke about it at the time.
Yeah. No, I think he's even when he was at United, I think he got a bit of unfair criticism.
One of his fiercest defenders as well.
Sorry?
You've been one of his fiercest defenders.
I think you were spot on, Lam, when you said his first touch, obviously used to let him down, but clearly at Inter Milan...
They've been doing a lot of one-to-one coaching.
Yeah. And but that aside, even at United, 2 seasons, even the PSG game where everyone talks about Rashford's penalty, I think Lukaku scored 2 that game, which went unnoticed almost.
I was surprised. Obviously, don't fit him with the way Ole wants to play, but I like you say, Eb, he's a top striker, isn't he?
Yeah, he'll get goals wherever he goes. And so apparently there's talk of him coming back to the Prem now, isn't there? Some people are saying Chelsea apparently they want Haaland, but if they can't get Haaland, they'll say they go after Lukaku. And I wouldn't be surprised if he leaves Italy, to be honest, because he's almost got like unfinished business in England. And if he has a manager and a team,
someone like Tuchel
that trust him, then he'll bang 20 goals easy.
Yeah, it's also Inter are in financial troubles at the moment, so they are going to look to offload players just because of the wage bill. Yeah.
I'd like to see him in the Prem.
Belgium, I actually wrote them off. I think I said it in one of the previous ones that I thought they weren't going to do anything. I thought they'd struggle against Russia, but you can't discount Martinez's management. They just didn't stop. And so
De
attacking,
Bruyne is
flooding
still to
forward.
come back, isn't he?
Hmm?
De Bruyne is still to come back.
Yeah, I thought without him,
And they rested Hazard. I know, Max, you were saying that you don't think is
I
the.
don't think he's the player he was.
No, I don't. I still think obviously you'd rather have him fit and fire him, but I don't necessarily think he's. Oh well, no, not even necessarily. I don't think he's the player he was at his peak.
Don't you think that was
You think
injuries
he
or
was-
anything? Like,
Yeah,
I
do you
don't
think
know.
if he's fully fit, it will
But
be
it's
the
not-
Hazard? I've got, even though he was a Chelsea player, I don't know, something about Hazard that I love watching this guy play.
Oh yeah. I think it's class, but it's like it's been 2 seasons now, and it's not just been injuries. There's been fitness issues as well, and
Yeah.
And it's like he wanted this Madrid move. Was that like his Everest? And it's like, yeah, I'm done now. A bit like how Ronaldinho got sort of when he sort of hit 28, 29. It was feet up, cigar in the mouth, and down the nightclub all the time. But
yeah, I think
I hope not, because like you say, I used to love watching Hazard. He used to terrorize defenses in the Premier League.
Yeah. So I think I'm in denial. When you're saying he's past it, I'm just like, nah, he can't be. He
Yeah.
can't be. Because he's one of those.
Not you either.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think another thing to note is Torgan Hazard, his brother. I think he's now
what a
shaking.
game,
Yeah, I think
what
he's
game.
definitely 100%. And I think the one thing that everyone used to refer to him as, oh, Eden Hazard's little brother. I think we can stop saying that now.
Such disrespect.
Yeah, I think give him credit where it's due, and I think his performance against Russia was phenomenal. Like one of the standout players there. I just want to quickly touch up on one of the home nations' involvement with Wales drawing to Switzerland.
Yeah.
I think
Real
I
shame.
think to be fair, Switzerland were the better side, and we saw a VAR goal ruled out. I think Grovanovic put it in the net, but it was fairly convincingly offside. So Wales, I think, came in the tactic. 1-1, I think, probably was a fair result, although Switzerland probably will feel a lot more hard done by. I just want to get your thoughts about tomorrow's games, given that we're wrapping up match day 1, starting off with another home nation, Scotland versus Czech Republic. Obviously has a lot of impact on the group that England are in. Any thoughts on how that game will go?
I think there'll be goals. Because I don't think either side's sort of the best. Well, I say that, and I'm going to contradict myself now. I don't think they're either of them are the best defensively, but I'd probably say Scotland's weak point is maybe their strike force. But yeah, I could just see maybe a sort of 1-1, 2-2. I think it will be a score draw in this one. Obviously, Bristol City being represented by the Czech Republic centre back Thomas Kalas, so looking forward to seeing him. Maybe he can soften up a few of the Scotland players for England on Friday. That'd be nice. But yeah, I think a draw. I think Scotland will be happy with that going into it. Can you imagine if they win, though? Imagine the sort of morale in the Scotland squad coming into that game on Friday. It adds a whole new sort of edge to that game, I think.
I think a win there will give them the belief that they can actually get something. Maybe even come away with a point. Maybe even dream of 3. But I think I'm going to go the opposite. I think it's going to be a board draw.
No.
Czech Republic, yeah. I think they're going to be quite a conservative game.
I reckon 1-0 Scotland.
Yeah, I'd like Scotland to do well. I don't know how you guys sit, but I'd quite like all the home nations to do all right.
Yeah,
Just
definitely.
not better than England. As
Yeah.
long as we get to the next round after the last one of them, I'd take that.
Yeah, definitely for sure. I think the other thing to note is a Scotland home game, so that will also play a part, and I'm hoping the fans do make it an occasion similar to what we saw in Amsterdam with the Holland game, similar to what we saw with the England match, and similar to what we saw with the Italy match. Like, the fans do make a massive difference. And then just to quickly touch up, there's a few more games to close out. So Poland against Slovakia. Obviously, Lewandowski will be one of the main players to watch there. And then Spain against Sweden. I don't think we've spoken a lot about Spain, but Luis Enrique has left out pretty much every Real Madrid player that he could possibly have chosen. And then, Sweden. A bit of an unknown, a bit of an unknown character. But is Zlatan actually going to play? Is he in the squad? Does anyone know?
On the squad.
No, in the
Pretty
squad.
sure
He's not in the squad. So
Did he get injured at the end of the season?
yeah, because that's what I thought. But let's have can someone quickly check that? I'm gonna have a quick look. And then obviously we have the group of death on Tuesday with Hungary and Portugal. But I think the one key one to watch, especially what Lee said earlier, with France and Germany, that's going to be a big match in that group. As you mentioned, never write off the Germans, but France's squad is unbelievable and they are the world champions. But then again, Portugal are the defending European champions in that group as well. That is going to be some group.
Yeah, I can't wait. But should we wrap up now then, guys? And what we thinking we're going to do Wednesday or Thursday, I reckon.
Yeah, definitely before England v Scotland.
Yeah. So, do you want to do the?
I'm kind of wanting to check if Zlatan is in the team.
He's not in the team.
He's not.
No,
So
fitness.
yeah, that's going to be an interesting game. But they have got Alexander Isak, who's probably their new striker, who's basically going to be the prodigy for Sweden for years to come, and he's lightning quick, and he has bagged a lot of goals in La Liga. So yeah, on that note, I think it is time to close out. So as I mentioned before, we were in the process of setting up a SoundCloud. I'm pleased to say that we have now got that up and running, and we are in the process of uploading each and one of our episodes onto SoundCloud. That is soundcloud.com/internet podcast. This is also linked to Spotify. So I'm pleased to announce that we are now available on Spotify. So you can also check back and listen to our podcasts on the go. You can download them, and then you can listen to it in your free time. And if you want to play back this episode, we'll put it up shortly as well. In terms of our socials, we're also available on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. So be sure to check us out at Internet Podcast or facebook.com/Internet Podcast as well. So that's pretty much all of what we have to say today. I guess we'll be catching up soon, hopefully before the England v Scotland game. So other than that, is there any other closing notes from anyone?
Thank you to Lee again for coming on.
Yeah,
it's quality stuff.
yeah, big
Quality
thank you.
input.
Yeah, and hopefully that's the first of many guests to come. That is a massive milestone for the podcast. It's 6 episodes in, we've managed to get a special guest, and yeah, it's remarkable for him to share his story, and is an absolute inspiration of what he's given back to the
trip to Hendon, I reckon.
Yeah, for sure.
Podcast road trip to Hendon.
100%. We have to put that on the cards. But yeah, other than that, it's goodbye for me.
Goodbye.
Bye, everyone.
Yeah. Thanks, and we'll look forward to seeing you all again soon.